Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. My name is Santi Rogers, and I have the honor and pleasure of recognizing so many wonderful citizens today and welcoming all of you to the third annual employer recognition. Let's give ourselves a warm welcome. For an event like this to occur, there are hundreds of acts of citizenship that precede it. Besides the people we're going to recognize today, we also have a lot of great people in this community. I'm pleased to live in Santa Cruz County. I live in Aptos, and I'm always pleased to be in my own hometown when it's still sun outside, our kind of sun. The significant point I want to share with you is there's many people in California that are very generous with everything they do. And the owners of this establishment are a couple people we want to recognize. Without their support, this would have been a very hard event to put on. So see Cliff Inn, Nikki and Ruby, are you here? Right in the back? Thank you very much. We appreciate it a lot. As you know, we're here today to recognize what I call good citizenship. Citizenship is the opportunity as a person to do something way beyond yourself for others. It's admirable anytime, and these days it's extraordinarily admirable. It's just a pleasure to be here along with the committee that put this together to make sure that we do the right thing always. It's a good life. What are the components of a good life? A wholesome place to live. Great work. Work with people that you respect. And the other place is the opportunity to build relationships that might be short or a long time. That's a good life. In California, we've recognized a good life, and we recognize the ways and means of preserving a good life in something called the Lanterman Developmental Disability Services Act. It's a piece of civil rights that I never pass up an opportunity to mention to you as Californians. We should be very pleased what happened back in 1967-68 when some moms and a few dads came to the legislature and said they wanted another option for their sons and daughters other than the state option of a large institution. We want another option for all of the things that we ourselves, as I've just described to you, is the opportunity for a good life. And from that came a constellation of services that the people of California, up and down with all of the different challenges we have in our budget, have supported continuously for over 4 decades. It's incredible. And here today, in a small part of California, we're doing a big thing. We're doing the big thing of recognizing people for their citizenship that's complementary. Many times when we're doing this, we're not aware of it, and that's a pure act of citizenship. And I like the word citizen. I like the word citizen. And I think by looking at all of you today, you understand the opportunities of being a good citizen is admirable, to say the least. We can be very distracted in these days, but today we are going to be really focused. So it's my pleasure to first start with, we include video. And so video, please.
Imagine working next to a person with a developmental disability. How would you feel about that? And what do you think that experience would be like? Well, I'm here to tell you that that experience can be extraordinary and that the impact it has on your life is indescribable. I hope that you'll walk away knowing that when you open up the workplace, businesses thrive, the employee thrives, and the community thrives, and of course, the people of California thrive. There is no other place in the world where the imagination is more abundant or the spirit more remarkable than here in California. That spirit can be found in the many California businesses who believe that those with developmental disabilities can work in hotels, in retail, in law firms, and here in the governor's office in Sacramento. You're now going to see for yourself the remarkable impact that this program is having, and I hope it will inspire you to join us as we include.
Working with Melvin is fantastic. He's got a great attitude. Anytime there's something to do that's even not in his normal routine, he's willing to help. Melvin's always willing to learn, and if he needs to understand more, he asks, and with just a little bit of patience and training, it's never been a problem.
I am the chief janitorial crew, and I order most of all the supplies. And I clean, and I sweep around the plant, because you never know when we're going to have company.
He's been here for over 18 years, and he's had perfect attendance the whole time, so he's working on his 19th year of perfect attendance. Over 4 years ago, we had a second plant ribbon cutting ceremony. Melvin was asked to be the one cutting the ribbon, since he is such a positive employee and been here such a long time.
I was the one who broke the ground over there, and I was on the news and in the paper.
Melvin's just a symbol of that can-do attitude that Dryers wants in all their people. So he's just a reflection of what the company desires for all their employees.
This is the cardiology department for Saddleback Memorial Medical Center. Jabron does a lot of things in our department. He comes in, he faxes all of our reports. He does all the copying that we have in our department. He files our charts. And when we're done doing our procedures, then he comes and he cleans the rooms.
Well, I usually like faxing the most. It gives me something to do, you know, I mean, rather than sitting at home watching TV, or it gives me a chance to interact with my coworkers. Yeah, we have good people here, and they really care about me, and it's a great environment to work here.
Everyone just loves him. He's just a wonderful human being, and we're very privileged to have him here.
Philip is one of our very best baggers. He's always here on time. He's very dependable, always willing to help, always willing to stay if we need extra help. He's part of the store.
I like to bag the groceries, and I like to bring in the carts, and I like to work here at Vaughn's. I love my people here at my job.
We've always been concerned about hiring qualified people from diverse backgrounds. Actually, Ellen was one of the original members of our team back in 1991. Somewhere along the line, we realized her talent for organizing things. So we promoted her within our department to doing some of our filing and some of our records keeping. And she did an outstanding job at that. And someone in the legal department realized her talents, and they suggested that perhaps we can bring Evelyn on not as an SVS employee, but as a Honda employee through a promotion.
John is the most enthusiastic and energetic member of our office, hands down. Like, when he comes in, he's just lights up the day. We work in the Capitol, there's not a lot of windows, but John is like that sunshine when he comes in.
Oh, hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you today?
I got you something.
Oh my gosh, is this all my mail?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, I need my glasses. Looks like a lot of work.
John started in June 2007. In March of 2008, we had a new process in how we handle the mail. During that transition, John did very well. He adapted and he's worked great throughout the whole transition.
Thank you.
It's here, buddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ampali, let me first check it out if it is the right papers. Give me a hug. You're the man. Very good work.
To watch him leave every day, feeling fulfilled that he's contributed and that he's done the great job that he's done, makes me feel good.
Clifford is the spark of everybody here. He likes to give everybody a lot of energy. He's well-liked, the superstar as he calls himself. He's just a very hard worker, very diligent, very fast, and very focused. Here at American Eagle, we did not have to make any special accommodations, just like one of the guys on the team.
I like the job here, to work with people who I love them, support them, respect them, and should respect me. I love to work.
Regina's an assistant to our clerk's office operations, so she spends a lot of time tracking down lost files. She does deliveries to various locations around the building. She goes to pick up things, bring things back to the office. When people request to view files or documents, a lot of times she's the person responsible for going out and finding them. The people in the office know her very well. She's very friendly. I know when I come in every morning, I get a good morning, how you doing? And it's actually really nice. She's always got a very cheerful attitude, and it's pleasant to have her here.
Hiring Jeremy was initially something that I did for someone else, and little did I know that in actuality it was him that was helping me, and especially in the business sense. I thought I was doing him a favor by adapting my store to acquire someone that had disabilities, and yet he brought in customers that would drive miles and miles and miles to come to this specific store to come see Jeremy. And he will be the first one to open the door and greet you and say, hey, good morning, welcome to Starbucks. And there's no better way to start your day with someone that's that enthusiastic about anything.
I love it. Every day is wonderful, working really hard.
It's almost impossible to not smile when Jeremy talks to you or kind of centers you or grounds you on what's really important in life. And the job actually ends up getting done better and faster because he's always there being so positive and uplifting.
I love to help others and get to know new people.
I tend to work too much, I tend to work too hard, and I tend to stress out a lot. And Jeremy's the kind of guy where he'll come in and he'll see that and he'll go, hey, relax, it's just work, let's have fun. I might teach him how to make coffee or how to clean a table, but he definitely teaches me stuff that I tend to forget.
I met Colby when ICM acquired our company a few years ago. He laughed and he charmed me, and I thought, well, if ICM, this big company, hires people who have disabilities, then they must be a good company. The way ICM was introduced to Colby was through the Bus Buddies program. A former agent who used to work here was on their board of directors and said, well, let's give this a try. 10 years later, it's no longer trying, it's successful. And what Colby does now is he scans everything from corporate legal documents to headshots for clients, scripts, receipts, accounts payable, piles and piles of paper. And he is the most accurate scanner we have.
I put it in here and I push this button right here and it starts going through. That's how it works.
Colby has never been late to work. He almost never takes a sick day because this is his home. He loves working here.
I started in the ground floor and I started in the video department. Then I got promoted for a BlackBerry and everything. Right here.
There is no corporate environment that I've ever worked in where someone like Colby would not be an addition.
So join us in this extraordinary effort and be a part of the people who make the change. We've seen the remarkable results when all members of the community work as a whole. And that is why here in California, we include.
In this picture, you remember Jeremy. It's hard not to remember Jeremy. I have to tell you, I know Jeremy. Spending 30 seconds with Jeremy is a huge improvement on your life. Unbelievable Californian. Talk about talking up California. We need Jeremy in the legislature, maybe in the legislature. Today, when we came in here, you heard extraordinary guitar music. How many of you heard the extraordinary guitar music? I'm going to have him stand up. This absolutely embarrasses him. This embarrasses him. Armando, please. Alcaraz, stand up, please. Soon to be performing in your local house somewhere. Armando is also an extraordinary individual and a great citizen. He is a service coordinator for San Andreas Regional Center, and as he plays the guitar elegantly, he is a wonderful, wonderful guider of people's lives. It's a terrific man. Thank you very much, Armando. Today, we have a number of folks with us. I think they'll be the first to tell you They get introduced all the time at public events. I think this is a public event that starts with the heart and goes to your head. And that's a good thing, don't you think, fellas? Today it's my honor to introduce to you to the mayor of Santa Cruz, Mike Rotkin. Mike?
Thanks. I'm honored to be invited to speak here today, and I'm wearing 3 hats as I speak to you. And the first hat that I wear is as a social justice advocate. All of my adult life, I've been fighting for the concept that people are equal, that people deserve equal access to the resources of society, that every individual is precious and deserves to be recognized and live with dignity in our society. And the work that both the trainers and the educators and the employers do plays a key role in providing access so that everybody in California, everybody in our society can actually be integrated into society and recognized as a full member of the society. In our society, we do that primarily through work. And it's not that there aren't other ways that people can make a mark on the world or make a difference, but for the most part, we feel that people, as they become adults, are actual full performing members of our society when they do work, and not just any work, but meaningful work that actually improves the society, that makes their lives better, that makes the lives of people around them better. And so as a social justice advocate, I'm very pleased that we have the kind of resources that we do and actually are making the efforts that we are. And there's still more room to improve, but making the efforts we make now to make our society open to people with developmental disabilities and to see that they can contribute fully to society and not on a basis of charity or somebody giving them something that they don't deserve, but to integrate them into our society as full members along with everybody else. I think the film does a really good job of sort of giving you some sense about that. I'm not going to talk to you for a long time. The second hat that I wear is as an educator. If you go back to the founding of this country in 1776, we didn't have very much of an educational system. Only a very small number of people went past what we now would consider third grade, really less than 1 or 2% of the society. Almost everything you needed to know in life you could learn from your parents or your grandparents. In terms of social service networks or support networks, we didn't have institutions for seniors or for children or for people with disabilities. The extended family network where people lived together with 2 or 3 generations and spread out through aunts and uncles, took care of those kinds of issues, and things worked, relatively well. There were, of course, a lot of people fell through the cracks, and there were terrible problems that we'd hate to be horrified to think about what the life must have been like for some folks in those conditions. But it's very clear today that we're not born knowing what we need to know to be productive citizens, and our parents probably can't teach us what we need to know, nor our grandparents or others in our family. And so there's a need for a fairly extensive network of educators, institutions, not just one institution, but a whole series of institutions that will help people wherever they are, whatever kind of background they've had. And this is everybody in this society that needs some form of education. So the network of services that exists for people with developmental disabilities is absolutely critical. And again, it's nothing that we don't provide to everybody in our society. The idea that people need an education, that they're not going to get everything they need at birth or from their family. And the way that this has been structured with the institutions, if you look at the list of sponsors that for this event that appear on the back of the program, you get an idea of how extensive the network is just in this area in terms of providing the education that's necessary to prepare people for work. Both job readiness kinds of preparation in the sense of, showing people how to become socially connected and work in a social setting with other workers, but also actual job skills and the ability to sort of focus in a way that's necessary in the modern work world. And again, in 1776, nobody needed somebody to teach you those kinds of things. Your father or your mother could teach you that, or your grandparents. That's not what's happening today. And so we actually need a fairly extensive educational network. And it's not cheap. It's not free. It requires tax support. It requires support of the community and of the state. And I think we make a correct decision when we decide to put our resources in that direction. And the third hat that I'm wearing today is that of an employer. I'm the mayor of the city of Santa Cruz. The city of Santa Cruz employs people from Hope Services, people with developmental disabilities in two major areas. We have a couple of folks in other areas as well, but the major areas are in terms of the making Pacific Avenue safe and acceptable and comfortable for people that are down there. And the other group, we have a group of people who do the sorting at the recycling center. Machines can do a lot, but they can't do everything. As it turns out, when you've actually watched the process, there's certain things that there simply are not machines, no matter how much you pay for them, that can sort everything. It takes human beings who make choices and decisions about where things go, and not just one or two choices, but a fairly complex set of them. And it's important kind of work. So I'm going to speak to you for a moment as an employer, someone that understands what we get as a city, as an employer, and for the citizens of our community by hiring people who have developmental disabilities and who have been properly trained for the jobs that we offer. Well, it's not that you don't start off having to make something of an investment. You start off having to train people. Perhaps it takes a little longer in the initial training than it might with people that don't have developmental disabilities. But what I've discovered, what we've discovered, and I'm sure all the employers in this room have discovered, if you make that initial investment, it's not that you're then going to keep sacrificing into the future and being generous, as somebody said in the film, or that you're providing some kind of a charity for somebody. You recognize that after your initial investment of a little additional work, a little additional training, you get your best employees, the best employees. The city of Santa Cruz has very high standards for the people that we hire. We don't tolerate people who, just get by or just, do the minimum to do their jobs. And I have to tell you that in a workforce of about 700 people, our best employees are the people that Hope Services bring to us and that work for the city of Santa Cruz. If you go to downtown Santa Cruz, and I do that, it's the mayor often and stuff, you realize that there's somebody a lot more popular than the mayor in downtown Santa Cruz. It's the people from Hope Services that are cleaning the street and providing people with services. And they're not just physically cleaning the street. They are the ambassadors for downtown Santa Cruz. They're known by everybody that works down there. Visitors come. They engage people. They have the social skills necessary to not just, again, connect in a small way, but to make people really feel welcome and comfortable and connected. And so that's something, again, you don't get that automatically. That's not something people are born knowing how to do. But it's an incredible resource for our community. Out at the recycling center, if we could get people who would have the attendance record, the dedication, the hard work ethic that we get out of the people from Hope Services and been trained by a number of other programs for all of our employees, we would be able to do things where our city would soar above everything else on the planet. And the people we get from Hope Services, again, I'm not making this up or just being, sort of saying things to be speaking. They are our best employees. And this initial additional investment that we make pays for itself many, many times over. So we're here today to recognize employers. People who have shared the same experience that I've had wearing this third hat as an employer. People who recognize that, if you make the initial investment, again, sometimes you're drawn into that out of generosity or a sense that you're going to be helping somebody else or you're doing something because it's the right thing to do. But I think what the employers here, I'm sure, have discovered is once you make that decision, you've made the right decision because it more than pays for itself, and you end up with your best employees having made that decision. So again, this is the recognition that we're giving today. It's probably not necessary on some level. The work that people do is its own reward. The decision to hire people with developmental disabilities pays for itself. It's an economically wise decision. It's not something that you're just doing to sacrifice for someone else. It's a decision that makes sense economically and is a business decision. But I'm here to represent 58,000 people who want to thank the employers who are making this initial decision, who are inviting people with developmental disabilities into their businesses, who are making that initial investment in some additional training, and who are then going to have the experience of recognizing that they've made the right decision. So thank you so much for being part of the community of Santa Cruz County, not just the city of Santa Cruz, but all of Santa Cruz County. I'm here with another council member from Watsonville, Antonio Rivas. We are so pleased that we have employers in this community that, again, out of a sense of a combination of social justice, but also just smart business sense, have made a decision to hire people that can really improve your business and improve our community. So thanks for the work that you do. We really do appreciate what you're doing for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure now to introduce another leader in our Santa Cruz County, Mr. Antonio Rivas, City of Watsonville.
I just wanted to really say to all the people with one of the things when I became mayor of the city of Watsonville, one of the things that the Hope Services came to me and say, we want to employ people with disability and with special needs. And I say, of course we're going to do it. No matter what we need this kind of people to providing with some type of employment within our city. I know it was hard because of the different budgets, but I say, well, I'm going to fight for this. And from now on, we have Hope Services in our city, no matter what it is. It's something that we need to do in every city to provide an opportunity to all people with disability and special needs. And also I thank Pajaro Valley Unified School District, which they have that type of training for people with disability and training, and then go beyond when they graduate from high school. It is important that we continue to do so. But one of the things also my daughter, who graduated from Watsonville High School, she decided to go into special education, and now she's employed by Fremont. She deals with people who are blind and deaf now, so she's doing a lot of work with those kind of kids. And we sent there have been a lot of from Watsonville and also from Santa Cruz that have gone to that special school, and also have come back and work here in Santa Cruz County. So it's very important that I still have that attachment to myself, to my daughter, and also to myself as an educator, because as a counselor and as a teacher, I see that all the time. And something that we have to do and continue to do, no matter what we do, is to provide this opportunity to people with disabilities and special needs. But when I see them, in the city of Watsonville, like our Mayor Rodkin said, what they do in the different areas is that they do it with such a caring of what they do that sometimes, it's surprising that I would like to see every employee to do what they do. They do it with pride, and at the same time, we give them dignity what they do. It's very important for us to continue to do so. And I think I think most of our city are advocates for people with disability and special needs. It's important we continue to do so. And with that, I really thank the Hope Services for coming to us, to the city of Watsonville, to be able to bring this program into our city of Watsonville. And I think they brought it to Santa Cruz. I don't know if they have it in Capitola, but I hope they do, and I hope Scotts Valley will do it too. Everywhere else, and I don't know, Santa Cruz County, I hope they do it too. But I think everywhere it's important that we provide that opportunity for those in people with disability. It is important to do so and continue to do so. And I hope the schools can be able to continue to receive the support that they need from the federal government, so we can continue to provide that educational for life skills that we need to do, so they can continue to have a job. And hopefully someday, maybe, they run for city council. I hope that someday they will run for city council, one with disability city council, because I think I saw a great woman, because I'm also in the Transportation Commission. I saw a great woman making a presentation that she was blind. And it was incredible. You brought your braille and told us, this is what we need, this is what we want, this is what you need to do. She was so great and so bright in telling us, what they need for people that are blind, and regarding sidewalks and regarding that. So I think I think someday some of you, if you have political aspiration, do so, because I think it's important that we have a diversity of people with different experiences that come to county government and city government, as well as state government and federal government. Maybe a president of the United States, you never know. So when one of these you will become president, one of you. So thank you, and I thank you for all of you that recognize the city of Watsonville for doing this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council Member. I want to draw your attention to the program, because I want to make sure I give the recognition to Director of Department of Rehabilitation, Tony Sauer. He unfortunately could not be here today. He has other things he has to deal with. but we're very fortunate. We have representing him the Deputy Director of the Department of Rehabilitation, Luciana Profescia. Luciana.
Well, I do send regards from Director Sauer. If he could have been here today, he would have. He has a medical issue that stops him from being here, but he extended his warmest regards. And I'm so happy to be here, and let me share with you just a quick story. I drove over 17. And how many of you drove over 17 today? So you know what it is to drive over 17. People are passing you on both sides, on the right side and on the left side, and you get a little shaken driving over 17. But we got safely over 17. And I walked into this room with Armando playing the guitar. And he wasn't only playing the guitar, but there was also a soothing and comforting in listening to the guitar. And I watched you, Armando, as you were playing the guitar, and you were totally immersed in what you were doing. And people around this room are immersed in what you are doing every single day. The employers, our community partners, our consumers, especially those of you in the audience, people with disabilities, staff from the Department of Rehabilitation and others. You heard on the We Include video, there was a theme. How many of the individuals who spoke said, "I love what I do. I love what I do. I love what I do." And I can share with you, I love what I do. And every day when I come to work, I just feel so gifted and blessed and privileged to do the work that we do every day. So I just want to acknowledge every one of you in this room for the passion that you experience. And it's truly a partnership between our community providers, those of you with disabilities, those of us with disabilities, staff from our community agencies and from state government, and especially our employers who really allow us to change lives. Together we do that, and I just want to thank you and acknowledge you all for being here today. And then I want to share a story with you. And when I was asked late yesterday afternoon to come here on behalf of our director, I called one of our counselors, and this counselor she went on and on and on about consumers that she had worked with such excitement. And I know that if I asked any one of the counselors from the Department of Rehabilitation in this room to tell me about one of their consumers, in a second they could just go on with such excitement and enthusiasm about the people that they have worked with and that they've had the privilege of working with. And she told me about Spencer. And Spencer is a man who's now a little older, but at that time he was 47, and he had intellectual disabilities. He also had some psychiatric disabilities. He also had a little bit of cerebral palsy, which made his lower extremities, had a bit of difficulty walking. He walked with a cane. Later in his life, he used a wheelchair. And his mother had just passed away in her 90s. And he inherited the family home, and he looked out into his rose garden. And that's what he did every day, and he tended to his roses, and he just loved looking out into his rose garden. And you can picture Spencer looking out into his rose garden. And Spencer really wanted to work. And if you thought about Spencer, you thought, well, could Spencer work? And many would say Spencer would be too disabled to work, but no one is too disabled to work. So Spencer got linked up with one of the counselors at the Department of Rehabilitation who worked with one of our provider agencies similar to HOPE, whether it's HOPE or the ARC or so many who do the wonderful work that you do, and went through some assessments. And what I share with you is that it's important for somebody to know what it is that they can and wish to do. So Spencer was filled with enthusiasm and motivation and commitment. And through the assessments, he thought, oh, God, I can do some, clerical work. And even though I can't read very well or do math very well, there are things that he absolutely could do. And through one of our community providers who happened, through the work that she had done for so many years, had worked with employers, and employers want to work with people with disabilities, and they want to feel comfortable that the people that they hire are able to do the job. And they trusted Terry, and they knew that Terry, if she said that Spencer could do the work that he could do, they knew that he could do that work. So she had a contact at the Conservatory of Flowers. This was in San Francisco. And Spencer went there, And here we are 5 years later, and Spencer has been working for the last 5 years, earning $13 an hour as a greeter, and he collects tickets and he directs people to where they go in the Conservatory of Flowers. And if you ask Spencer what is important in his life, what will he say? I love to work. I love to work. I love to work. So that is the opportunity that every one of you in this room offer to people with disabilities. And we just thank you for inviting us today, and we're so privileged to be here with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. One of the challenges of being an assembly member or leader with 80, well, I guess you have 79 other members, plus or minus one, is to deal with all the wealth of challenges, but the wonderful opportunities meeting thousands and thousands of people. Those of us who are fortunate enough to live in this geographic area are also fortunate to have a great, great assembly member. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you, which you already know, Mr. Bill Monty.
Well, thank you, Santi. Thank all of you for being here this afternoon. I would like to start by recognizing the work of Santi, of Hope Services. A special thanks to Armando for his wonderful music, to Tracy, to Robin, to Gina, to everyone who combined forces today to organize. Let's give them another big thank you. And when Sante spoke earlier, and he does every time he speaks, he references the Lanterman Act. And he references that as the Civil Rights Act for people living with disabilities. And what we are part of is an evolving civil rights movement. And as I grew up, the civil rights movement took place in the South, the leadership of Martin Luther King, and recognizing the disparities, particularly of African Americans in this country. And that evolved to be a civil rights movement for Chicano empowerment. I had the honor of working with Cesar Chavez in the farm workers movement, another civil rights movement. And then others along the way have identified certain systems of oppression, systems of exclusion, gay and lesbian community, and a civil rights movement for recognition and equality. And the movement that you all are a part of, as people living with disabilities, families living with family members with disability, employers who have taken the step to employ people living with disabilities. This is one of the most present, current, and important civil rights movements happening in our state, in our country. And people look at the achievements in California in particular in paving the way, fighting for the rights, and it's looked at not just nationally, but indeed internationally. So I'm just honored to be able to join in the recognition of the employers who are being recognized today for their role in this civil rights movement. And as both Mike and Antonio mentioned, there's huge benefits, but there's also challenges. The benefits have been articulated, the loyalty of workforce, people who we all identify with work. And as was pointed out, the First Lady and the folks that were featured in the video saying, I love my work. I'm very fortunate. I represent a beautiful district, diverse in natural beauty, diverse in human beauty and communities, and I love my work most of the time. I have to say, there have been some budget struggles that have been less than pleasant and which continue. And yet part of that is to make sure that as we fight in very tough economic times, when we have unemployment levels going up, that often it's the last hired, first fired. Often it's the person who has struggled to find employment or find a job when economic times get tougher. They're the ones that are left out. And so as we struggle with high unemployment rates in this state. Those employers who have maintained a commitment to hiring and supporting and sustaining employees living with disabilities, and for those of you in the community of those living with disability who have continued to prove yourself day in and day out at a job, we're all living in very tough times. And so what might have been an easier commitment for an employer to make, or an easier job for somebody living with disabilities to find just 2 years ago, we have to recognize that in today's economy, in today's climate, these partnerships are even more important and represent a higher level of commitment and a participation in what we have to understand. It's a civil rights movement, it's a civil rights issue, and it's ultimately grounded in fundamental human rights, where while we identify a sector of the workforce that is living with disabilities, as they become part of the workforce, they don't become a person living with disabilities, they become John, Mary, Nancy, Ted, Juan, Carlina, whoever it is, it becomes that human identity that becomes part of family. So it's my honor to join you, and I think we're going to present some awards and certificates now. Thank you all for all you do. Thank you.
And I will bring the ladies up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to draw your attention again, because we never can spend enough time recognizing our employers, our fellow citizens. So in your program, it's on the table. Some of the employers are unable to be here, but we will recognize them in due course. The employers that are here, we're going to do that first. Okay? So again, it's we're asking each of you who are being recognized, if you wish to say a few words. I know you all look forward to public speaking. It's probably one of the first things you really look forward to. And if you would like, please join us with some words. If not, we're going to give you these extraordinary small tokens of our appreciation, also from the committee that puts this together, as well as Assemblymember Monty. So beginning with the City of Watsonville. City of Watsonville.
For me, it's a pleasure to present a person that's been, Bob here has been doing a lot working with our City of Watsonville. So I want him to say something about our program and also how great all the people that work for us, for people with disability and special needs that work in our city. We're going to continue, no matter what the cost will be, we continue to fund this program no matter what it is. So with this, I will present Bob Geyer here.
Here we go. Thank you. Hi there, I'm Bob Geyer with the Public Works Department, and gosh, for a whole number of years now, we've worked with Hope Services in Watsonville. Similar to City of Santa Cruz, they worked at our recycling center for a number of years, and most recently, we began a program with them working in the downtown, pardon me, on keeping the downtown beautiful and also greeting folks in the downtown. And in addition to that, they walk and patrol our 6.5 miles of Watsonville Slough trails. We have a very nice trail system down in Watsonville. I invite you all to come down and enjoy the beautiful outdoor trails. And they patrol the trails. They do litter cleanup along the trails. They talk to the community members that are along the trail and engage them in conversation. And it's just been really, really wonderful that we've been able to work with Hope Services over the years. One of the things I wanted to comment on was something that, pardon me, I'm sure everyone noticed in the video, and that was the smiles on all of the workers that were in the video. And that's one of the things that I've truly come to appreciate in working with Hope Services and all of the folks there, is every morning they just greet you with this beaming smile, and it just starts your day off just right, and you just come away with just such a good feeling from them. And so I thank each and every one of them, and I thank Hope Services for being a part of the Watsonville family. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And they are already, it's a moving picture.
Okay.
It's a moving picture. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. You got it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay. Next, it's our honor to recognize the complete mailing service. I think you're here. Please come on up. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Would you like to say?
I'm afraid I might have a heart attack.
Okay. I want to make sure you stand right here, and you're going to be. Oh, by the way, we didn't get a photo release, but he has a standing one, and so do I. You're being recorded, and we're in many different ways. Live. Nothing like being live, right? Thank you very much. Congratulations again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our next great citizens, employers, East Lake Village Hardware. Here they are. Thank you very much. Ladies, thank you.
Amy, congratulations. Jan,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Would you like? Sure. We'll just move this down a little bit. And there you go.
Thanks. Hi, I'm just here today to accept this award for Rodney. He couldn't make it. I think he actually stepped aside so that Miss Amy Fisher would be able to come. And Amy is our success story. She's gone from working 2 days a week to 5 days a week. And I think she has a few things to say.
Ronnie's a great guy to work with, and it's very fun to work with him and learn new things. And I hope you come visit us at East Lake Hardware Store.
Way to go. Thank you very much. Okay, you're good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a great worker. That's a great work. Next, it's our honor to recognize leadership, Precision Mercedes. I think you're here, right here. Oh, great. Frank, how are you?
Congratulations.
Would you like to say something? No, that's all right. Okay.
Turn around.
Turn around here. We want to see your, and especially your logo. Okay. Right here. For Precision Mercedes. There you go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody. Here you go, sir. One more time. Thank you very much. Again, another terrific employer leader, Spa Fitness Center. Right here. Thank you very much. Congratulations. We'll hold this for you right here. Thank you. Let me just move this down for you.
I just want to say that I just feel so privileged to be in this room with so many fantastic people. We've been in the community since 1973, and we've employed people with disabilities, and they are just a joy. Currently, we have Rylan working with us in our nursery, watching the children, and I spoke with him yesterday. He's been there 5 years, and he is just such an incredible young man. And, you know, I talked with him, and he just invited me in, and he wanted me to see all the Halloween decorations. And there was a little child just tugging on him, you know, just loving him because he's just so great with the children. And, you know, I said to him, I said, Rylan, I said, what is the funnest part of your job? And he said, just being with the children. And he's got this big smile on his face, and, you know, it's very, very apparent that he loves what he's doing. And then I said, what is the most difficult part of your job? And he said, well, I have to really think about that. And he says, I guess it's when we have 3 babies and they're all crying. And he says, but then that's not bad at all. And then he said just what I thought was wonderful. You just have to exercise patience. And I walked out of the room and I went, wow. Wow, I just needed to hear that. Don't we all have to exercise patience? And these young people, you know, they just are so incredible, and they just bring such simplicity, you know, to our lives, and their smiles and the things that they do and the things that they say. And I also spoke with the manager of the spa, and I said, tell me a little bit more about Rylan. And he says, he is just one of the best employees that I have. He said he is just always here. He's always on time. He says the department is just absolutely, you know, so easy to run. And he's constantly giving me feedback on things that, you know, we should be doing in the department, and suggestions and things that, you know, are really, really good suggestions. And so we've just loved employing the young people over the years. And I thank you all for everything that you're doing in the community.
Thank you. Come over here and get
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your.
There you go. You can take a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's thank her if you like.
Next is Whole Foods Santa Cruz. You're really close, right here. So
Thank you very much.
Do you want to say
You want to thank you?
Well, just say thank you.
Yeah. We kind of forced Shane into this, I think.
Okay, well, I work in Whole Foods in Santa Cruz, and we have employed Audrey and Kristen, and it's been a joy to work with them. They actually are very inspiring, and that kind of carries on and is contagious. Everybody seems to get that energy when they come to work, so I think it's actually quite an honor to have them working with us. So thank you.
You guys want to come up and get a picture? Come on up here and get a picture as assembly member. I'll step out and have all you guys.
Here, you join us then.
Go ahead, you guys get in the picture. Great picture. That's a great picture.
I look forward to going to work each day because I really like helping people. I get to help customers by bagging their groceries. Sometimes they also need help to their car. My co-workers, Shane, and different kind of co-workers I work with in my life, and supervisors are very nice, and they really be there for me to help me. All help me the best I can be. But we also work very hard because we care about doing our best. My job at Whole Foods Santa Cruz is a very important part of my life. I hope to work there for a long, long time. Thank you, Whole Foods, for helping make my dreams come true. It's come because my mom ended up right. She really always drive me at my work.
That's great.
I love you in my heart. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Audrey.
Thank you.
Let's thank Assemblymember Manning. I want to make sure we recognize all the businesses that are not here. If that doesn't ruin your makeup, nothing doesn't ruin your makeup. The important part is that contributes to your heart in the biggest way. What a great employee. Is that not a great employee? Everyone would like to have a great employee. Let's make sure, respectfully, because a lot of things happen in busy people's lives, that we recognize the other employers who are not here today. Applebee's of Watsonville. Let's give them a big hand. Midline. Let's give them a big hand. And I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Oh, Ross Stores of Watsonville, for short. And last but certainly not least, Watsonville, Cadillac, Buick, Pontiac, and GMC. Let's give them a hand. Wait a minute. Okay, I get to do this in public. Wait a minute. No. It's my pleasure to both apologize to a wonderful woman from the Department of Rehab and to do it in public and on film. No political career for me. The other part is this is a great individual whose heart is so big you can barely get her in the room. So, Deborah Sweetie, please.
Thank you very much. Enough really was said. I was just basking in the glory of today and what everybody just experienced. So it really wasn't necessary that I had to come up and give you my 2 cents. But I think you've heard politically why you need to hire people with disabilities, why it's the right thing to do, what it does for the society, what it does for all of us in the community. We heard about the economic argument and the fact that when you put people to work, you're going to get back so much more. I know for a fact that I go to the stores and to the businesses that hire people with disabilities. So Safeway, Whole Foods, wherever I've placed people, basically, is where I get to go to, spend my money. So I think that's really the key, is to honor the people that have hired people with disabilities, honor the folks with disabilities who've achieved what their goals are. I know for me, as a person with a disability who's come up through the Department of Rehabilitation as a consumer and now as a district administrator, I would never be able to have any of the dreams and any of the lifestyle that I have if it wasn't for the people around here that have really reached out to me and have been partners with me. And I really want to thank everyone who is working in the community, the Good Samaritans, the folks that are giving their heart and soul day in and day out, working for this cause. People with disabilities, as Bill talked about, there's a disability rights movement. We have to keep moving that agenda forward. We have a long way to go, but we have pride, I think, in where we are right now. And we can see that the people who are going to work have the equality and the independence today that they haven't had years ago. And so we have a lot of successes and a lot of things to celebrate for our future. So really want to thank everyone here. And again, I want to thank the moms and the dads that make it all happen. These are the folks that are working daily, teaching their kids that they can succeed and they can go on and have successful lives. So really want to thank you all for, being present today, and enjoy yourselves. Thanks.